everyone's FPS dream. It's more than a game. There are many paths to victory, and the champions are not only made in the arena. Do you still remember the joy and inspiration? Do you still remember the confidence and adrenaline? Do you still remember your original intention and the passion?
I love CFS.
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 I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
Hello and welcome back to Nanjing in China. What was the home to the Youth Olympics back in 2014 is the location for CFS 2018, and what a weekend it has been so far. Our third place match, Gen Super Valiant Gaming up against INTZ. Super Valiant, the champions from both 2016 and 2017, and were the hot favourites to make it through to the finals again this time around. Now are in the stadium but playing for third place instead of first place. At least, Kyle, they're now one map up.
Yeah, definitely a great way to close out that map, and I think they have a lot of confidence behind them now to take this series away. INTZ, you can still see the looks on their faces. They're very disappointed with how that map went, and rightfully so. They had a huge start, and they sort of just let it crumble towards the end. WQ and N9 leading that charge back in for SV, and it just made it almost impossible to get back in.
Yeah, Blue, they won 3 rounds of 13. Of the last 13 rounds, INTZ picked up 3. You can't do much with that.
Yeah, and overall, I think it's going to make for a really interesting second map as we get into it. It's going to be very hard for the Brazilians to get back into the game now.
Well, let's get into it. It's map number 2. We're heading to port.
Right, it is port, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be the second battlefield for this fourth place match. Super Valiant Gaming already up 1-0 now over INTZ after a banging start, it would seem, for INTZ. Now they'll have to recover quickly on the defending side of port if they want to have a hope of closing out this tournament. Penkata and Anke trade blows. It's a quick attack onto the A site, onto the B site, to start off the round for SV.
INTZ, though, already getting the numbers advantage here for the retake. Things looking good so far, but WQ going to be holding on to pit here, waiting for the cross back into sight. Not going to happen, though. Akemi and Vinny, they shut things down. It's all on Elegant, and it's just not going to happen here. Already across the board, every player picks up a kill to open this one up. INTZ starting it off on the right foot once again.
Right foot indeed, but we did see moments of glory indeed from Super Valiant at the beginning of that round. They were able to really just brute force their way into the B site. It was only in the follow-up, unfortunately, that they fell apart in trying to establish better post-plan positions, and were unable to do that, leading to the retake from INTZ. Now we'll see once again if Super Valiant can try their attack. It's a lot more split up in the way that they've opened up this round. They're going to be leaving players all across the map and connectors in the long exposed. Oh, and a nice opening shot from Vinny as well, hiding right into one of the connectors. Finds a nice pick on a Dalbao Q to stop him from doing much at the beginning of this round.
SV now have to sort of reposition themselves and look for a new opening here. INTZ off to a great defensive half so far. Vinny finding that opening in this round. WQ going down. A very familiar situation, though, for SV. This time around, they're going to lose another 18 going down. A 5-on-3 now. INTZ in full control once again on their defensive half. Elegant, N9, and Anka looking for the answers here. Nothing going to go their way just yet. Still looking for that secondary pick in mid. It's going to be Vinny looking for the drop down here. Both players were flashed. Not sure why he didn't fully commit there, but still Elegant going to be looking back up at him for the potential trade.
Still a massive advantage going by the way of INTZ. Anke, though, gonna look to turn that back around. Nice pick is found by him. Knocks out Vinny, one of the first players here to go down in this round for INTZ. Rest of SV, though, still struggling to figure out exactly where they want to take this play. They've got positions established all over the map to try and make an attempt somewhere. It's looking like the warehouses where they will combine, however, and attempt to head out onto the B side again. A stronghold is already here from INTZ. Two well-established players, NNM and Penkata, ready to hold off the direct hit that we're more than likely going to end up seeing from SV.
Now SV have to position themselves nicely to execute out. Last time having some struggles with how they tried to work their way out onto this bomb site. We'll see if there's any sort of momentum swing in their favor, though. But Akemi, he's already found Elegant. Things looking better for INTZ on the round. NNM finds one. It's all on N9. We've seen him do incredible things before, but now he's looking for the 1v4, already taking down one remaining player. Still a lot of work left to be done. Gets caught on the reload, though. STK will shut things down, and it's going to be a 2-0 start here. INTZ in control from the start again.
Not like what we saw back on subbase, but obviously still that looming threat of the potential comeback if we end up with anything close to what we had at the end of the first half on subbase in our first map. But of course, it's still early days here. Still plenty of time for Super Valiant to get themselves into the action on this attacking side. Let's wait and see if they can do that. Again, they're posturing up for some long push out towards A. Obviously, we're unsure if we're going to see them go for that or not. They did the same exact thing in the previous round. They ended up not pushing out at all. I think this is more to fend off aggression from INTZ should they decide to push, which is also, as of course you can tell, not going to be happening.
This time around, we will see a double stack in mid and a boost we haven't seen before. Kemi, a new position there, nicely done. I'm not sure how often that position may come out in the future for them, but a nice read on their positioning and the ability to use that boost could be enough to tilt the match in their favor if SV is not prepared for that positioning.
We're seeing how he's doing it too, right here. Takes him a few tries, Takes him a few tries, but he is able to get himself up on the wall now. Again, a nice little angle to use. Nice position to try and spot out anyone that might try to push out towards long, which again, is not really going to be in the cards for Super Valiant here. They wrap themselves back over towards the yellow halls. It looks like they are going to be making a push out through the warehouse onto B again. Potentially some mid-action going to be coming out from Super Valiant as well, as they've postured up for quite a bit of pressure there. It's a 3-2 split ultimately at the end of the day. I think this will involve a mid-pinch. However, of course, this massive choke point in mid may prove difficult to get past. It's STK holding out against one. The immediate trade is there from 18, but Akemi absolutely destroying the other two, leaving everything on Elegant at this point. Picks up one with the on, but that'll be it. Pankata closes it out. It's a 3-0 beginning. So we're looking more and more familiar with that lead continuing to establish itself in the favor of the Brazilians.
A nice curveball in that positioning, though. Utilizing that little spawn boost could be enough to get INTZ into a great position to potentially close this out and take it into a map 3 situation. INTZ once again off to a great start. Akemi finds the opening pick onto Elegant, taking him out. It's going to be a 5-on-4 already, and he's going to go for that boost spot once again. And INTZ have this thought out quite well. SV not really sure of it just yet.
So once again, limiting those options for Super Valiant in the early round by finding that opening pick. As INTZ look to take that 5-0 start, maybe even more so this time, as this is their own map pick. So we would hope they'd be able to control this situation on the global risk side even more so than what we saw back on sub-base in our first map. A slow start will be the way that Super Valiant will have to play things yet again as a result of the loss of Elegant this early on. Don't have the usual armor to play towards it, but I believe Daobao Q has picked it up instead. We'll be trying to make up for the difference of Elegant in the late round here.
SV still need an opening to find their way in. INTZ controlling this map very well so far on port. They did have a clean start, though, in map number 1 as well, and we saw how quickly it can go back in SV's favor here. So SV need to establish control a little bit earlier on if they want to feel safe in this one. Looks like they do want to put a lot of pressure here over towards mid. Only one player sitting outside of A-long here for SV. The rest of them just grouped up, ready to strike here onto STK's position, but STK playing patiently as ever once again. Daobao just holding the angle, waiting for the impatient peek.
The rest of Super Valiant, though, time is going to start to crunch against them without really any map control to work off of whatsoever. Time could really become a factor that ends up messing them up at the end of this round as they'll be forced into a low time execute. Anke and Daobao Q both find impact pickups, though, to even out the numbers and put SV a man up. Problem is both N9 and Anke also take some hits from that. Anke, of course, getting the much further worse end of it. 18, though, does not account for Pankata for some reason deeper into the site. It's only a 1-for-1 exchange for him, thankfully, so SV will remain in control of a +1 man advantage. Now we do have Akemi starting to rotate over, looking to cut any of these players off at mid that might still try to push in, but that's not going to be happening. They're long gone. They've got the plant, and most importantly, the site control over at B.
Vinny and Akemi, though, looking for the retake. Akemi yet to die in this match so far. 5-0 could be what they need here on the retake. And 9, though, in the position to shut things down. Misses the shots, though. It's going to be down to a 2-on-2 now. Akemi leading the charge back in, but Daobao finds one. The last player isolated now behind the boxes, but it's Vinny to find the frag. Both players remaining very low, but Anka picks it up, and SV start to claw back once again. This time, though, well before 5 rounds.
Yeah. A lot earlier on, and of course I think the rounds themselves in the first 3 that we saw INTZ pick up being a little bit closer, a little bit more evenly traded. The biggest problem that we saw from SV was their capability to get onto the site, so they continued to slow down their play, just trying to whittle out players from INTZ one by one, and that strategy seems to have worked. Finally finding a weak site, SV are able to penetrate B, getting access, and most importantly, around onto the board. A little bit earlier on than what we saw on sub-base.
Now we will see the boost spot coming out once again. Akemi, what a spot to have found here for his team. INTZ using that quite efficiently so far, but they have to be careful. Once it's known by SV, they're going to try and find ways to shut it down and make sure he can't get up there quite as easily. And it is a position where you could counter it. He's not really having any sort of cover in these situations, just sort of playing it in an open angle in hopes they won't be aware that he's going to be playing a little higher up.
So SV are going to continue the slow play lead up. Still pretty favored towards B, but the very small nature of a lot of these maps, it's relatively easy for SV to change up their playstyle and their preferred site at any given time, but at the moment it is still leaning heavily towards another B site take. Super Valiant, though, needing to be careful against the smoke coverage that is set up by INTZ, especially at this mid door. Due to the position from Vinny on top of the bridge, they know that he could dive onto them at any moment. Find quite a large amount of impact. Same can be said for the armor. That's going to be sitting on the other side of the mid doors, waiting for a more direct push from SV. It's not looking like we're going to get that, though. Elegant instead will wait to see if STK, on the side of INTZ, may decide to peek out and challenge this. And meanwhile, N&M holds a very close angle against any push that might come from the warehouse, should we decide to see Super Valiant take that route yet again.
SV, though, going for that mid-aggression. STK has to try and hold it down, finds the first frag, though, needs to do more than that, but it's not going to happen. Vinny, though, comes in from the support from above, finds the double kill. WQ there to trade it out. INTZ now a 3-on-2 advantage here. WQ and Elegant looking to try and hold on for SV, the bomb down, but Elegant does have control of it here, but Pinkata swings around the corner and takes him out. It's going to be WQ falling as well to Akemi, and INTZ still staying cleanly on top in this one.
So a bit of a bump in the road there for the players on INTZ, but they do quickly reassert their control and look to further push themselves ahead now at a 4-1 advantage. Starting to look more and more like the scoreline we ended up with back on sub-base for the first half, and we'll wait and see if that continues to be held true. The opening round push from SV, though, is going to be held back once again. And we finally do actually get a little bit of aggression from INTZ, which is what Anke's position is supposed to stop. Unfortunately, fails to actually peek out into the open. So N&M will just chuck a grenade down there, fall himself back over towards the A site, and continue to wait in the event we see SV commit to a push.
Vinny going to run into trouble here, though. 3 SV players working their way up ladder. They quickly back up, though. He will be spotted. And 9, though, rains down a nade for 40 HP worth of damage. Nicely done. Vinny has to back off here, knows that they want to take him out early.
So we'll play onto the top side of the A site instead, waiting for the eventual push to come in from SV. It did seem like they might have gone for it as well if they were able to find the impact kill, but now their plan has been revealed, and they don't have a kill to show for it. So they're going to be forced out of that A push and connector. Most importantly, it also allows for N&M to line up this great angle to hopefully catch a few of these guys if they jump out from the top side of this connector. But it's slow played again from SV, not wanting to make noise or really any moves whatsoever. It's absolutely necessary. They're just hoping that INTZ are going to be the one to make a mistake, but I don't think that's going to be happening. INTZ are playing an incredibly passive game for their global risk side here on Port. They've shown no signs of really throwing that aggression out to the open to where SV might be able to punish it. So SV will need to adjust their playstyle soon. Might need to get a little bit more proactive about things.
Right now, Akemi in the key position here to hold off the push, playing on that little boost spot here outside of A. They're not ready for him to be here either. He lets one cross, finds the second, and it's going to be INTZ with full control. Akemi finds another. The bomb is dropped. N&M finds the bomb carrier as well now. Things not looking too hot as SV is alone with just 18 left. The 1v5 down to a 1v4, but the flank comes through. Pinkata missing the shots, but it's not going to matter. Vinny seals the deal there, and INTZ pick up another. It's going to be a 5-1 start once again for them. The question now is, will they be able to hold on to it?
Yeah, and for Super Valiant, 2 directive play, unfortunately, at the end of the day, is what we're seeing on a lot of these rounds. Not really able to innovate, with the exception of the one round they did pick up, where we saw actually quite a bit of innovation from them. And just slowing it down, fishing out the aggression from INTZ, and then slowly weaning their way over towards the B site from that point forward. The problem is INTZ immediately adjusted. They just went hyper passive, and they've continued to fall into that play style for the rest of the map here now, barely giving the guys from SV any angles to play off of. Akemi really the only high-risk player in terms of the defensive setup, as he's continued to try and peek into mid for intel, along with maybe a lucky opportunity for a kill early on in the round, should that chance present itself.
Akemi 9-1 from that positioning as well, doing a lot of work. We'll see if finally SV can potentially catch on and find a way to shut that down, but so far it's been quite effective for INTZ to lock down these pushes from A and mid. Vinny, though, waiting for the push from SV, who once again are grouping up for a potential A hit here. 3 players outside of A long now, looking for the peek onto A top. Akemi, though, holding the top right angle here on A, waiting for somebody to potentially actually go for the boost peek here. He's just going to be crouch peeking it.
Need to play for intel. Super Valiant, let's see if they decide to stick around or if they'll move back through the connector again. I was hoping we might see a little bit of an earlier timed execute come out from them, but I'm not sure if that's going to end up being the case. So, yep, they will pull back. They're not going to push them along at the end of the day. They're going to fall back closer to their spawn. Try to play for intel mid again. Unfortunately, this hasn't worked. They've continued to do this. This has been their go-to strat for most of these rounds, and it's almost never really worked out with much success. But now they go into the connector, whereas before they were just peeking out really into the primary long angle, but this time they're going to try to funnel their way out. surprise Akemi up close if possible through this connector jump.
SV, though, looking to strike here, but once again, INTZ stacking towards this A bomb site. SV, they need to be careful not to run into this trap too easily without checking all of their angles. STK, though, does have his back turned, waiting for the mid push, but Elegant already grabs the opening pick. It's going to be a 5-on-4 as they push into the A bomb site. 18 already on the flank as well. INTZ find the trades, but it's not going to be enough here. STK now left alone in a 2v2 here. Dabaku and Elegant force their way in, but STK is not taken down without a fight here, and it's going to be SV somehow pulling that one off. The trades go slightly in their favor. At the end of the day, it's Dabaku the one finding the final 2 kills there to close it out.
And it's INTZ that make the mistake of thinking SV were going to continue to play with these very one-dimensional takes and not innovate, not try to split their players up eventually. They go for the pinch from mid, and it works out great. You don't have the usual player who would be on the AWM, that being Akemi, to be able to watch out for that kind of a push. And as a result, SV's pinch works out perfectly. Still comes down to the wire at the end of the day, so props to INTZ for being able to hold it as long as they did. But ultimately, that pinch did allow for SV to get themselves into a man advantage position, and they never lost it from that point forward. So a second round is picked up. As we head into the closing rounds of the first half, SV once again looking to try and bring this as close as possible to increase their chances of a bounce back as they jump onto the defensive side.
Right now, SV playing very reserved here. Very far back in mid is Elegant. Looking for the mid pick here, potentially, if he can find it on the cross. Right now, Vinny, though, looking to push up A long as well. Just getting control of this box position outside of A connector. SV, though, they need to make their move quickly. They've been running down this clock a little bit too much some of these rounds and being caught for it. But now N9 going to creep up mid here with 18, looking for the opening here onto STK once again. They've been able to abuse him a few times, but INTZ, they will still hold on to control here. NNM, though, gets completely blinded. Here comes the push out of mid. They're not ready for N9 to swing around the corner. He finds one, finds the double kill. Vinny and STK, they will trade back, but N9 almost gets the third, but Dabaku there to trade it out. Now it's going to be Elegant finding another. Pinkata now left alone in a 1-on-2 situation, but he catches them off guard and finds the kill onto Elegant. Dabaku versus Pinkata for a huge round for SV to work their way back into it here. Pinkata, though, has to back off. Meanwhile, Dabaku does have the bomb and can plant here over towards A.
Dabaku should find security to be able to get that plant down. Just checking at first to make sure Pinkata didn't go for a direct retake. He's continued to remain on that B site. I think he was hoping, actually, that Dabaku might have ditched off of A, gone for a full rotate to try and catch him off guard. Wasn't the case, though, and now as a result, Pinkata's just going to end up wasting a whole lot of time off the bomb defuse timer here. He will push in at an angle that Dabaku won't be able to spot him, though, as he takes the back lane instead. But now, Dabaku will get the chance to take him down. It's a fight he takes in the open as well. He'll shut it down in the 1v1. And we will indeed see Super Valiant Gaming forge their way back in at the late portion of this half as they bring it up to 5-3 now, going into the last round of the first half.
An all too familiar situation here for INTZ, starting up 5-1, already potentially to be crumbled down to a 5-4 half here, with SV having the momentum on their side. Dabaku, the one stepping up here for his team now, 8-6, as INTZ look to potentially try and hold this final round of the half. SV, though, adapting nicely, making some adjustments on their executions. They've been able to abuse these mid players time and time again on the side of INTZ, who are starting to struggle to hold on here, and STK goes down from the start to Elegant. That's not how you want to start if you're INTZ here.
Another player who had a bit of a slower start in this map. Elegant obviously not doing the best of work of being able to find any of these opening picks in mid, but has since improved that. He's had a much better track record moving further and further into the half. Still not great, still not amazing. Granny's working with the AWM on the attacking side, and that alone here on port is going to limit his potential fragging capability. Obviously see him hopefully step up a little bit more once they get onto the defending side, but that's still a ways away. For INTZ, though, it's aggression that we're going to be seeing for them. The attempted boost up into connector, trying to spot for Intel, but can't get the job done. So it is going to allow for SV to push unhindered into the yellow halls and then out through the warehouse onto the B site, which right now is primarily just being defended by Pinkata. I don't think he has any additional support. Thankfully, there's cross rotates available. Pinkata is able to survive the opening push. Vinny now jumps into the fight too. Anke is going to be available to trade at least one of these kills back. That only serves, though, to even us out, put us into a 3v3. SV find the room needed to get the plant down, and now it's up to INTZ to retake.
SV once again bringing themselves back into this match. Anka now stepping up in this round along with Elegant to get things started. Vinny very low on HP for the retake. SV with a huge advantage here. INTZ all isolated on the global risk spawn while they have to move through a smoke here to try and retake this bomb site. 17 seconds to get the kills and the defuse. Anka, though, finds a second here. Dabaku and Elegant finish it off, and just like that, it's a one-round difference at the half. 5-4, INTZ on top but surely not safe in this one.
So China continues to reign supreme as they forge yet another comeback in our second map now. Moving up to a 4-5 scoreline. Just 6 more rounds needed here going into the second half, and they will close out this series 2-0, claiming that third place prize. Unfortunately, no chance for them to go further into this tournament. This will be the end of the road for them here. They will have RU Legends going up against our other Brazilian challengers in the grand final immediately after this matchup, so be sure to stick around after this one's conclusion.
SV, though, a chance with at least some redemption here. Obviously not making it into the grand finals, a huge detriment to them moving forward, but at least a chance to end things on a high note here, as they are looking very poised for the comeback here in this third place match. Very well played half as well to bring it to a 4-5 scoreline, only down by 1 now as we jump right into the second half. It's SV looking to tie it here after starting down 5-1.
Good start once again here. I was talking about how Elegant might have been feeling a little bit more uncomfortable on the blacklist side of this map, and he immediately finds it back with an aggressive push through the warehouse to net him the early kill against Penkata and to hinder the push from INTZ, as they'll be down to a 4v5 from pretty much the direct start of the first round on the half.
Interesting change, though, coming out of INTZ. It's going to be NNM picking up the this time around. Not something we usually see in his hands. It's usually a Kemi, with Penkata being that secondary sniper. So NNM will see if his change, bringing out that sniper, makes any difference here for INTZ to find this initial pick. Right now, though, Elegant, the only one with a kill in the half just yet. SV looking for the early tie here to establish the dominance we saw from them to close out map number 1. We'll see if they have anything in them, though, on INTZ to bring this back. They're looking for mid-control here to potentially execute on a split towards A, but still, they have to be careful. Already being down a player here.
A lot of nades going to go in towards mid to try and push 18 out of position, and it does work. Does quite a bit of damage, too, knocking off about 80% of his HP. Still going to play into that hard lock mid position to watch out. More so playing for intel than anything at this point. And it does not appear as though INTZ want to continue to commit to that. Shaping themselves over to the A side of the map is an aggressive push from Daobao Q. It'll be immediately traded out. Still, though, furthers the advantage for SV, translating the 5v4 into a 4v3.
Now SV looking to hold on and close out this round to bring us to a tie here, but right now INTZ a chance over towards this A bomb site. All remaining players going to push their way in, but Anka in the crossfire with 18. Not going to happen, though. NNM, the reversal here, takes both of them out, and it's going to be Elegant and N9 left to rotate back in for the retake. NNM, though, and Akemi both sort of stuck here on the cross, afraid to push through that smoke. 20 seconds, though, they have to plant very quickly. NNM takes a lot of damage from the nades across, but Akemi finds the first here onto Elegant. N9 left in the 1v2. Looking to make big plays, though. Gets the first kill. Can he find Akemi, though? Very close exchange there. No player going down just yet, but it's going to be N9 with the 1v2, and just like that, it's all tied up 5-1. Now 5-5 here. SV surely in control now.
We talked about how N9 was going to be a very crucial player coming into this matchup, and his performance could very well determine whether or not SV would be able to come out on top. It seems like that performance has remained consistent from map number 1, and he still is able to bring out those barnstorming plays, those shocking plays that allow for SV to keep competitive in this matchup. Tied up now at 5-5, the momentum from INTZ that started off this map once again has been completely broken. And SV sure is strong, in a position to push themselves further ahead, and potentially right up to 10 if we don't see a very quick response from INTZ.
We are going to see 3 players now working their way into A connector here for INTZ, but Elegant going to be in a position to potentially shut them down here. A 4th player now working in for INTZ as they look to potentially work their way out onto the A bomb side. A lot of players here ready to explode out of this A connector onto the A top player. Elegant, though, going to try and hold it down. Akemi coming in for the support from A long as well. Elegant, the only one here to try and stall out this push, but INTZ have to be cautious. He's in a great position to try and hold them off.
Still just having to crouch peek this very quickly. He's got to be careful of the immediate knockout. We are going to see INTZ barnstorm their way in. Counter flashes are good, though, but it won't matter. Vinny gets the first kill against 18. Anke with the trade, but NNM brings it right back for INTZ. Anke will try to do more, but no, it's NNM once again being the definitive player here for INTZ. N9 will catch one, trying to lurk his way into the connector, but the problem is he's now the last man standing. A 1v3, what would be a 1v4 if he could clutch it, is set against him. It's not going to be looking good. He's lurked his way back towards spawn. Creep over towards the site, is immediately spotted up by NNM as he completes the trio kill and closes things down for INTZ, as they will still be able to continue trading rounds. even with the slower start on the attacking side like we saw on sub-base.
Right now it is going to be up to SV to try and tie things up once again. INTZ, though, finally getting some success on their blacklist side, seeing if they can push themselves forward to potentially close out a map and make themselves established here as the dominant team. SV, though, making that exceedingly difficult, but INTZ go for the full rotation here. They're going to be going all the way back towards this B bomb site where they need to be careful because N9 is the initial player on this B bomb site hold.
For the INTZ roster, it's going to be a bit more of a direct play this time. They are trying to head into the yellow halls and get themselves out into the warehouse quickly, but not a utility being deployed by SV to stop that from even being a possibility here at the beginning of the round. That won't last forever, though. N9 is the main player that is attempting to hold them back with utility, and he's almost out. So in a few moments here, INTZ will have no problem continuing to push into those halls and making an attempt to get themselves into the warehouse once again. Also going to be pressuring mid a little bit here, too. Trying to sneak their way over to B connector. Not going to be working out too well. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. 18 and Anke do take a lot of damage as well, though. So maybe INTZ can work this after all. Vinny now finds a second pick as the aggressive position players from SV continue to get pushed back. It's left down to Anke, very low HP, along with Elegant and N9 now. Try and close this round down for SV, and it's not looking good for either of them. We do see Anke getting knocked out relatively quickly with a 4v2 advantage, now 4v1. Unfortunately, just not much of a hope at all here for SV to get anything done in the clutch scenario, but it is on Elegant. Starts it off well with at least one AWM pick. Unfortunately, he's got 3 more to go.
We'll see if he can somehow make this happen here. SV relying on Elegant to try and bring this one to a tie once again, but Elegant stuck in a tight spot here, has to work his way back from the GR spawn and get back into this one. Right now, all 3 remaining players as well ready to pinch him. Here comes the flank as well. It's going to be NNM working his way up behind, and that's going to be enough to seal the deal. INTZ now getting the momentum on their blacklist half, and this could be a chance for them to push forward to map 3.
Still with a potential lead playing into their favor as well now. 3 more rounds separate them from map 2 victory in a tied 1-1 series to send them the distance, to send them all the way to map number 3 on Ankara and decide the difference between 40K. We'll be taking 80, we'll be taking just the smaller $40,000 prize pool for 4th place. That'll be determined in the next hour or so as we look to close out map number 2 and potentially map number 3 if INTZ can complete their run here. A 1-for-1 exchange is going to be the way this round starts off. Most importantly, Anke does get the spot onto the bomb. Unfortunately, though, again, the trades go by the way of the attacking team. INTZ find massive impact and leave it all on 18 and Elegant in a 2v3. 18, though, he's going to get aggressive moving in towards the spawn. Finds himself a good pick. The second one as well is 18. He's finally back and alive now. But it's NNM, the massive clutch player, the massive rock here for INTZ that's been showing up round after round again. That's going to look to close out. Problem for him, though. He's got Elegant right on his backside. He's already got the spot, and he's caught him on the ladder. No chance for our Brazilian player to close out in the 1vx there. So our Chinese team will hold on. SV get their 6th round up onto the board, and they are 4 away now from closing out on this map.
And just when you think it's over here, SV, they fight their way back into it, and now INTZ have to try and hold on to it. SDK, no kills in the half. Pankata having some struggles as well, but SV, every time they seem to bounce right back into it. And now with 18 waking up, this could be a whole new game here for SV, looking to tie it up once again and find themselves in a 2-0 sweep here to close out this series. INTZ, we've seen it time and time again, the pressure getting very high to close out the map, but they still have the struggle in making that happen. SV, though, patient as ever when these rounds become even more important. They seem to be the team that's able to step it up and make it happen.
Again, it'll be very slowly played out. INTZ trying to fish around the map to look for any opportunities. You can see a Kemi taking some shots further in the distance there on the AWM to try and see if he can get lucky and find a pre-fire position against anyone from SV that might be hiding out on the Global Risk Bridge. We're not seeing that at this point. 18 would be the closest thing, but he's tucked himself away in a relatively safe spot, leading closer towards the B site. Not really going to be trying to contest actively. Got that position by the vent hole leading into the yellow halls as well to watch in the event that INTZ push towards there. Smoke goes down, though, denies all vision for 18 and the rest of SV here in mid. And now look at this, the little jump run up onto the bridge from NNM is going to give him easy access. They don't know what to expect now. NNM walks right up. Thankfully, Elegant's there for a quick trade. He's going no additional support to come in, but Pankata has now moved through mid, as has Vinny. 2 quick kills for them. INTZ are absolutely decimating SV as they don't know what hit them. N9 now left alone, a 1v4 beset against him. He finds the first kill. It's a heavy amount of damage that's thrown onto N9 as well, meaning that Pankata can move in and quickly close out, giving the round over to INTZ.
And now once again we see INTZ with the opportunity to close out this map, but we'll see if they can make it happen this time around. SV bounced back when it was exactly the score here on sub-base, and they were able to walk away with a 10-8 victory, winning the last 4 rounds back-to-back. We'll see if SV has it in store for us once again, or if INTZ will push us further into a map 3 situation. Right now, though, INTZ, they've got to be careful, but they've played the positions quite well. Getting that mid-control last round and sending 2 players right over the mid-bridge was so key in getting those openings, but now SV, they should be ready for that attack if it happens again.
Well, INTZ themselves are once again going to spread out early on in the round here, continue to play for the slow picks, and hopefully try to catch anyone from SV off guard. SV, like we saw from INTZ though, at this point anyway, not too keen on aggression for them, although we have seen a few rounds where SV have gone a little bit crazy pushing down the A long angle, and it actually worked out quite well for them. It's the one round I think that they have been able to control more dominantly so far in this half. So it's not too much of a far cry to see INTZ hold these passive positions and just make sure we don't see SV try anything more aggressive once again. They've even gone for pushes in these yellow halls before, so INTZ want to be particularly careful about the way they approach the early rounds.
SV, though, making the gamble of now stacking their players over towards this B bomb site, but it could pay off. INTZ grouped up for a take on the B tunnels, potentially into this B bomb site, so a great read coming out from SV. And this could be exactly what they need to get momentum on their side once again. Vinny gonna try and lead the charge here out into mid, but it's gonna be 18 who gets the first. Pankata goes down, and INTZ have to try and force their way into the B bomb site here. The flash comes over the top. 18 finds himself another one. It's gonna be a 5-on-3 right now, though. NNM finds the first, but it's not gonna be enough to get a full opening onto this bomb site. N9 holds it off with Anka, and it's down to the 1v3. NNM all alone here, going to find 2. Can he get the 1v4 though? Not today. Anka shuts it down, and it's gonna be SV finding themselves one step closer to a tie once again.
So they are chasing that lead just like we saw back in our first map. Obviously this time it's taking a lot longer for them to be able to reach that closeout point, but we've reached that same scoreline where SV were able to tie it back on sub-base with the momentum into their favor. We just have to hope that INTZ strong enough to persevere and continue to pick up rounds in their own regard. Continue the slow play. That seems to be the plan that's been working out well for INTZ. Problem is, though, is their site takes have been somewhat hit or miss. They rely a lot on the initial entry power from players like NNM. Look at the others. STK as well here, still yet to frag in the second half at this point, 0-4 now. Unfortunately, he has not been having a good game. Meanwhile, the player that was lagging behind a little bit in the first map for SV, that being 18, he's resurfaced. He's already had himself a massive impact round. If we go back about 2 to 3 rounds, that was on long, where he was able to find a double kill for his team. Dalbel Q, actually, on the defensive side, is the one that seems to be lagging behind a little bit here now for SV. He's only been able to find 2 frags in the second half.
INTZ once again looking to put pressure on mid and find their way out of this one and potentially get themselves onto a map point situation. We'll see if they can make that a reality, though, as SV have started to rotate into mid, but it's not going to matter. It's going to be Akemi finding the first here. 18 goes down, who's been sort of the star player of the half for SV, so this could be exactly what INTZ needs to potentially close this map in their favor. But as we've seen under the pressure, INTZ do tend to run into some issues here. They have to try and close this one out. SV, though, definitely lacking on HP over his Dalbecue on their side of the field. INTZ, a huge advantage for the push, but they still have to hold on here. N9, a deadly player when things get tough.
Well, for the INTZ roster, time is getting incredibly low for them. They need to commit soon. I like the crossfire setup on the A site. The problem is a lot of nades still present here. And as well, STK reads into it, finally gets himself onto the board for this half. N9 will get plenty of warning onto the push from him, and he'll go out aggressively to find his second kill with Elegant's pick. It's even back up again into a 2v2. Unfortunately, he's not able to find another opening frag. Elegant will get cornered, no impact being made from him, and NNM will once again close things out for our Brazilian roster as they push up on a map point first. 9-7 will become the scoreline.
Almost another scary situation as well. Last round to tie it up 8-8, and the first map was actually a 2v5, which almost just took place there. But this time, INTZ, they shut it down, but it's not going to matter. 18 answers back gets the first pick. Vinny goes down, and 9 looking for the entries here to retake this B bomb site, but INTZ has full control here. They've got to be careful not to give this one up. INTZ in a position to close out this map and take it 10-7 and push us on to a final map situation, but SV wanting to stall that out and take this one into overtime. They're just 2 rounds away from making that happen. Here comes the peak onto 18. They're going to take him down. 4v4 now. The bomb's still yet to be planted, but it may not matter. STK finds the double kill in the B tunnels. That's going to be enough to keep them on top for now.
Plant will go onto the ground here as INTZ look for the closeout. Timer's going to start ticking into their favor. For Super Valiant Gaming, not a whole lot in terms of retake angles to work off of here either. They've got one player inside of the warehouse, but he can't seem to find a good way out. And as well, it's WQ who's been struggling quite a bit in this second half, but they make it work. Anke and Elegant both find frags on the retake, and now they have a man advantage on the way back in. However, STK lurking, can't find impact on his own, and he dies to fall damage. SV somehow get it done, and they take it the distance. We're going to the last round of regulation once again at a 9-8 scoreline. However, it's not so easy of a closeout anymore for Super Valiant. They now must take it to overtime if they still want the 2-0 closeout.
The scary situation, though, in overtime. INTZ, a team that struggled in the group stage in their overtime match against SV, so we'll see if that's something they can recover from if this does indeed go the distance. But still, INTZ, a solid chance here to close this one in regulation if they finally are able to close out the map, but it's not looking too likely to start things off. It's NNM, the star player for INTZ, already down and out thanks to WQ stepping up here.
WQ finally netting himself another kill after a very, very slow start to this half. Only his 3rd kill on the half, but it's an incredibly impactful one to take NNM, as you said, the top performer from INTZ out so early on in the round. Won't be able to help out his team for the rest of this, and they've often relied on him in order to make entries happen here. Akemi looking for anything he might be able to work for on the A-bomb site, but there is 0 presence that has been established by Super Valiant on this site. Nothing that he'd be able to gather here. It's just a waste of time. The rest of SV, they have a heavy stack on B. A would be the site to hit, and in a moment, our number 5 player from INTZ, and again is Akemi, on the back end with the AWM, more than likely will realize this. It's not necessarily a free take, though. You still have Elegant on the opposite side, on the B side of the GR bridge. Try and cut these guys off if they go for a direct push.
INTZ starting to creep in now for this A execution. The smoke starting to bloom in front of Elegant as well. They're going to hope he can't see anyone through the edge here and hope that they can sneak their way in to a potential plant situation. But Anka close by on the global risk spawn wall to rotate in as well. They're just going to try and ease their way into this one, but the smoke's starting to dissipate here. Elegant with a chance to now see them through the edge of it, and now INTZ, they may have hesitated just a bit too much. Anka going to be able to rotate in as soon as Elegant takes a shot here. And here comes the cross. Elegant, though, lets one go. He's going to let Anka bait his way in, but he finds the second here. SV looking to do this one and go the distance into overtime. Akemi does manage to find the trade there. It's going to be a player going down. Anka on the back of side. Akemi finds another one here. It's down to a 3-on-3 situation here for the retake. SV still looking for that overtime situation. Elegant, WQ, and Anka to try and take this one the distance here, but STK, he's been lit up now. There's an opportunity to strike, but Vinny on the flank shuts down Elegant. This could be it. INTZ down to the 1v2. Anka trying to keep it alive, but the 1v3, it's now just a 1v1. He's going to go for the ninja defuse. He has time. We're going to be going into overtime here. Anka, what a play. And just like that, SV, they do it again and have a chance to take a map back in their hands.
Seems like it was lost. The post plant went incredible for INTZ. Unfortunately, Anke battles his way back onto the site against all odds. The straight up ninja defuse as well, due to the last player on INTZ being out of position, still being on the lurk in mid, and not being able to wrap through connector quickly enough to retake a position on the site to stop that defuse. Definitely a ballsy play, considering that he didn't know exactly where that last player was, but it works, and it allows again for the Chinese team to hold strong. Super Valiant Gaming are going the distance once more and taking this to overtime to attempt a 2-0 closeout in our 3rd place match.
INTZ, though, you've got to wonder, when are these guys going to be able to close a map in their favor? So many opportunities to make it happen, but they always seem to slip right when it matters most, and you can still see it on their faces. They feel like this map should already be over. They've got to be feeling like this could have been a 2-0 series had things gone slightly differently at this point, but it's looking like a potential 2-0 now for SV if they take this away in overtime, and as we've seen, SV, a very dominant team in overtime situations.
Indeed, that is the case. In fact, when we saw these two teams specifically go off in overtime during the best-of-1 phase of this tournament, it was a 4-0 streak from Super Valiant that allowed them to quickly close out and take control of the match. The score has been reset, So it is the first to 4 that will close out in this matchup. It's a maximum of 6 rounds that will be played out, and if we are still tied 3-3 at that point, one final round will be played, the golden round, to decide the matchup. Great start, however, from Akemi, immediately getting himself back into the fray. It's short-lived, though. There's an immediate trade from Elegant, as now the rest of SV are going to continue to push forward. Anke does it again on this A side, a double kill from him to open the way for SV to plant.
Now INTZ, their backs against the wall once again. 4v2 situation. NNM and Pankata trying to hold on, but SV looking to take the lead right back here as we start off overtime. NNM and Pankata, though, rotating together, trying to find these remaining players here for SV. But they need to be careful. 4-on-2, not an easy situation here, and one they could easily be traded out of. Anka, though, playing outside of B-Long, waiting for that potential push to come through. He is very low on HP and does have the bomb in hand alone. A risky position to be playing. If they take him out, there could be an opportunity still to hold on.
So Pankata's going to go for the jump up, trying to play for as much info as possible here around the bridge. More so than anything, watching out for SV. We already saw the aggression for them earlier on the long push, and Pankata's just hoping that they recommitted. He might be able to find impact here. He's got to watch mid, though, of course, since the fallback did occur. And they're still unsure about where exactly Super Valiant are going to make their push towards. Super Valiant, meanwhile, been hiding out in the backside warehouse, just trying to make sure INTZ don't try to do any follow-up. The problem, though, is that because they've gone incredibly passive, they've allowed for other players on INTZ to take up aggressive positions. It's Pankata that moves himself forward, tries to work with the AWM from top A site, but he's going to miss the shot, so quickly rotates back the other direction. However, it seems the on presence at minimum has scared away Super Valiant. They've gone back towards mid, a much more heavy focus on this portion of the map. And meanwhile, NNM has worked himself into mid, but Elegant's going to be able to catch him before he can find any impact. It all falls to Pankata now in a 1v4, completely surrounded. Find the first kill, though, gets himself off to a good start. Dabao Q has him flanked, but I think Pankata knows this, or potentially might have heard it. He'll drop down onto him. There's the second now. Pankata well on his way to a clutch, but the bomb is going down on the B site.
Now INTZ hoping somehow Pankata can find his way into this 1v4. Now down to a 1v2, but he's very low on HP here. 34 only left to work with against Anka, who's very low, but Elegant still on full HP here. But it's not going to matter. Elegant takes him down, and SV are back on top here to start off overtime. INTZ once again trying not to crumble under the pressure, but being in this live arena, the Chinese fans on their side. SV looking primed to close it out now.
So SV, 3 more rounds to go, and they've got it. They've already done it once before in a 4-0 streak, and they'll look to do it again. Like the slow adjustment as well. They don't overcommit themselves towards that A site after they find a good start by knocking out Akemi and one other player from INTZ. Their overall A site defense crumbled, but SV didn't overextend themselves. They continued to play slowly, waited for the right opportunity to crunch onto the A site when INTZ's 3 remaining players were split up. They were able to take solid control from that point forward, and they owe it all for the most part to Elegant, who found massive impact there.
Here in this round, though, it is going to be a pretty big stack over towards the A bomb site. Coming out from INTZ, a lot of players putting their focus on mid and A. Only one anchor. It's going to be Pankata over towards the B bomb site for INTZ. Has to be careful. 4 players ready to attack this position, but we do see SV. They're going to fan out here and potentially go for the split onto the B bomb site, but still putting a lot of pressure on Pankata to actually hold this one off here.
5v5 situation still. No team making contact with the other just as of yet. NNM, though, may have an opportunity for that relatively soon. The problem is Elegant has Overwatch on the top bridge in the event NNM tries to push out to shut these guys down. So he'll have to be incredibly careful about his own aggression if he decides to go for a play. You can see, though, Elegant not necessarily focused on the bridge right now. And as well, STK gets a good stop to begin this push. NNM, however, will get traded out after he finds initial impact. And Vinny now trying to flank after 18 picks up a double kill. Vinny will look to shut it down, but it's 18 holding on strong, at least until he's traded by Pankata, leaving Anke alone. He's already done the impossible once before, but he misreads the position from Akemi on the A site, allowing for a traded round to come in for INTZ.
Now the traded rounds going back and forth. In the back of the minds of these teams, there could be a golden round in the future here to potentially close out this map right now. Either team looking to pull ahead and prevent that being the fate here. SV, though, a team we've seen very dominant in overtime. Dabao, though, still dead silent with N9 here. As they come to life, this could be the end here for INTZ, who are potentially down and out. If they fall here, this would be the end of the match for that 3rd place prize. 40K on the line in overtime for SV. If they can close this one out, they would guarantee themselves that 3rd place prize, but INTZ looking to prevent that here. They had a solid defense, a little bit of mistakes towards the end of the half, but still, they looked quite strong on it, so we'll see if they have a way to make this happen.
Elegant once again be in the front runner position here in mid. Try and catch INTZ as they make any aggressive push. In fact, we have seen just that. STK try to roll it into mid. Takes quite a bit of a spray for one of the members of SV. Not much success though. Finding damage on him. He's forced back. It's actually Pincata that tried to push elsewhere. That took the only real bit of opening damage here. I believe both teams end up trading a little bit with regards to opening nade damage.
INTZ, though, playing very reserved in this round, trying to throw all of the pressure onto SV, forcing them into a side execution, but that's exactly what they'll be doing here. They're going to be going for a full B take. This is where Pincata has to shine in this position. NNM, though, there for the support, playing in the cheeky corner position just outside of the barn push. All 5 players come swinging out. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. NNM not able to get enough done there. Pincata has to try and hold on the flash, though, devastating in his positioning. He's caught off guard. Another one hits him in the face. STK does get a kill on the rotation, though, and now there is hope for the retake. All of INTZ swinging from the global risk spawn, and now they're going to go full force right back in. Pincata and Akemi helping clean things up, and it's 18 all alone in a 1v4. The bomb dropped. Pincata going to be spotted, but still, it's 18 who finds another one onto Akemi in the process here, but it's not going to happen all the way as INTZ take the lead right back here in overtime.
So they'll push ahead at a 2-1 advantage. 2 more to go, and they have control of the second map. They'll be going to a third on Ankara to decide the series. However, it's inconsistent at best right now for the Brazilian roster. These rounds still remain incredibly close. Thankfully, the shutdown has been working out well for them. It's on the sites where we see our players from Super Valiant having issues making contact and finishing off rounds for them. I believe a pause has been called, though, so we're going to give our teams a moment to figure out what exactly has been going wrong. It's more so for Super Valiant in overtime. Quickly fix these issues before we switch halves now.
INTZ, though, put into another position where they could have a big lead go against them and fall once again. INTZ so familiar with falling short, and now this is their opportunity to keep the dream alive, push themselves one step further by taking this into a third map and potentially winning back this series. But SV now on the defense, trying to stand in their way, and we saw what they did in regulation, having a very solid defense on the SV half. They're already going for the AC boost as well. And it's going to be STK going down to 18, and SV starting this one off on the right foot. Anka finds another. They're going to get aggressive here over towards A-Long, already pinching onto these INTZ players. The pressure too much to handle so far for INTZ.
So INTZ is going to try to throw themselves into the B halls and attempt to get out through the warehouse, I would believe. And that's not going to be the easiest job in the world, especially when they are already down 2 players compared to what SV bring to the table. Akemi looking through the open window to see if anything might present itself, but that's not what's going to be happening here. INTZ just get flushed back over towards their spawn, and even worse, while still inside of the B tunnels, 18's able to catch one. There's a trade that comes in from NNM, finally taking 18 out of the fight, but it's only a small gesture. Elegant will move right back in from the bridge. Akemi able to shut down one additional player from his own bridge. A little bit further back in mid. Now he sits in a 1v3. A very tough situation, and even tougher considering the fact that he's working with the AWM.
SV now trying to rotate and find his positioning here, but Akemi has one advantage here, and that is having the bomb in his hands, potentially able to work over to top A and get this bomb planted, but he has to be careful. The rotation quickly coming in behind him. They may have spotted him on the bridge flank here. All 3 players moving very quickly here. Akemi going to run into trouble from behind here. Akemi, will he be ready to respond? Not too likely to happen there. N9 takes him out, and SV tie it up once again here. Now SV in the position once again to take the lead back into their hands and still secure this map in overtime as it's all tied up.
And so SV are going to be shooting ahead now. A massive advantage going into their favor, especially considering that they are on the defensive side and are looking for a quick close out to this match if at all possible. 2-2 becomes the scoreline. SV looking to shoot it up quickly to 4 from their defensive side. However, it's looking like INTZ are going to go for an explosive burnout from the barn. Q holds it with a double kill before being traded. N9 looking to get himself into the fight, but it's Pincata battling things back now for INTZ. NNM and Akemi getting more kills, and there you go. The rush onto the B site works, keeps the Brazilians in contention as they instead will push ahead up to map point.
And now this is where things get scary. If SV picks up the round, it is going to be a tie in overtime, and that means it's all going to come down to a golden round to decide the fate of these teams. SV, though, has to push it there, but Akemi wants to stop that from happening. Elegant taken out already, and INTZ may just have what it takes to take us all the way, but still finish it before the golden round comes up.
Akemi trying to see if he can scan anything out from the other side of the smoke. not looking likely with the positions that he'll have to deal with way on the back site there. Just trying to see if he can get lucky early on, but I don't think that's going to be happening. As the rest of INTZ look like they are going to be sending their players over towards those B halls. Make an attempted push into the barn once again. This time, though, N9's swinging out. It's only a 1-for-1 train. That's not what you need in a high-pressure situation like this. You've only further guaranteed the advantage for INTZ, as now we're down to a 3v4. Down Q tries to bring it back, but again, a 1-for-1 exchange. 18 trying to save the day. So far, a clean kill in his favor, but they are going to look for a trade, and they will find it. Unke falls after that as well. INTZ close out map number 2, and we will go the distance, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be settled on Ankara. INTZ getting revenge from earlier on in the tournament where they did lose to overtime against Super Valiant. This time, they come out on top, they tie up the series, and they send us to a third and final map to decide our third place winner here at CFS 2018.
What a way to get it done there as well. INTZ finally showing us that they can indeed close out a map. They've got to be feeling very confident after that one. It looked like time and time again SV was just going to come back in and take it away, but at the end of the day, they finally get the job done.
Second time's the charm. It took them a while, but very happy to see, yes, INTZ able to close out a map against one of the best teams in the world. And now we are one map apiece in this best of 3 for third place. $80,000 is the prize for coming third. $40,000 is what you get if you fail here, because of course you've succeeded across the rest of the tournament, but doubling your money, that clearly is important, plus the pride. The guys from Brazil taking this very seriously, and I'm glad to see they're back in it. Absolutely,
There's still a lot of money on the line to be fighting for, doubling your money in these circumstances here, and they want to prove that. They want to prove that they can take down the best Chinese teams as well, just like their brothers over in the grand finals that we're going to be seeing play a little bit later today in Black Dragons.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a story? The two Brazilian teams taking down the champion from both 2016 and 2017 in best of 3s.
Yeah, it would just be incredible to see. I mean, first and third for Brazil would be amazing to see as a finisher here, but it's still not over yet. SV showing us that they can claw back into these matches and really make it extremely difficult for INTZ to close out. I think the possibilities are still there for INTZ to win it, but SV after that loss may just want it even more now.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd for me to see how that played out. It was actually the INTZ guys who felt perhaps a little bit more confident in that in the tiebreaker in the overtime, considering how devastated they look after they let it get all the way through, after they let it slide to that point. I thought maybe that might be too much for them, and I think this is quite a confidence boost, Blue, to have lost that but then being able to bring it back when previously, last time they went up against Super Valiant, they weren't able to do so.
Yeah, it seems like this time around they were just willing to throw everything onto the line. They were willing to take some of those more aggressive risks. If they ended up getting traded as a result of that, that was okay. As long as they could continue forward and someone was able to pull off a double or triple kill over the course of the round, it would still end up working out in their favor, and that policy seemed to work pretty well for them here on Port.
Yeah, sometimes being aggressive can't really hurt. Remember, we're playing esports, right? It's you're not going to put your shoulder out or something. Give it your all. Try something a little bit different, and clearly that's what they've done, and they brought themselves through. As we move across to Ankara as our third and final deciding match, what are your thoughts going into this one, Carl?
I think for me, it's N9 who needs to step up for SV to really make this one happen. Anka tried there on Port, and he was able to help them bring it back into overtime. But at the end of the day, if you don't see N9 and WQ playing to their peak, it's just not going to happen. But as we can see there, NNM, one of the key players for INTZ's success here, getting that MVP in the second map, definitely well-deserved there.
Yeah, had a really great map there, of course. So overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Glad to see that it's going to be going all the way. A couple of surprises perhaps across the story, but that is very much the nature of esports, and I'm very happy to see the team from Brazil, INTZ, are up to the challenge. The question is, though, Blue, Super Valiant up to the challenge this time around? What a surprising place to be in.
Yeah, we would have to hope for that to be the case. Unfortunately, quite a few of their players just kind of fell off the face of the earth throughout the course of that map. Dalbao Q had a pretty poor performance until we got very close to the end of the second map, or the regulation time anyway, and into overtime as well. We didn't really end up seeing much from him, so he needs to wake up, because back in the first map we were seeing him make massive impact, and he was just completely silent here on map number 2 for the most part.
Yeah, it was definitely less than ideal. I think we're very close to heading into our third and final map as well. Of course, this afternoon, our best of 5 grand final is coming up. There is so much on the line there. If you're talking about $80,000, you think that's a lot of money. Think about $500,000 USD. $500,000 is the first place prize. And now an opportunity from 2 teams not from China to pick up that big cash prize for first place. 200,000 is what you get for second as well. And a way to write the record books, I suppose, and say, hey, first one in here, not as a Chinese team, in a final not consisting of Chinese teams for the first time ever.
Yeah, it's crazy to think we would have a final without a Chinese team, let alone for the first time a Chinese team not winning means they could even place 4th place here. I mean, that's a crazy difference. You know, maybe they could fall into a final where they lose eventually, but falling in 4th place as the best placing Chinese team of 3 is pretty much unexpected here.
That's not how I thought the story would go, Blue. If I saw a Chinese team not winning the finals because they came second, not because they came 4th.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be the case, or certainly the case. And now it's going to make for a very interesting storyline going into this third map, because there's a lot to be defended by the guys on Super Valiant Gaming. Not only the fact that not only their 3rd place position anymore, but just they're trying to get some high placing position for the Chinese region overall. They're fighting to try and see how high they can place themselves in this event, and hopefully still come out of it with something to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Super Valiant playing perhaps here for redemption and for their fans in the audience, whilst INTZ playing for the highest placing that an INTZ squad has ever had in CFS. They've only ever received 4th so far back in 2015. Looking to one-up that one and lock in 3rd for them, and of course, the 80,000 USD in cash prize. Let's have a chat about Ankara. Kyle, what do we expect to see here?
I think SV is going to be looking a little bit more confident on this map. I think it plays to Elegant quite a bit, being able to control those long lanes, not afraid to take those sniper peeks as well and challenge onto these enemies. I think Akemi's going to have a much harder time finding these openings to try and challenge off Elegant as well. He doesn't have these cheeky positions that he was able to bring out on port, and there's not a whole lot of angles he can really exploit in that same way.
If you were in-game leader, if you were the order here for INTZ, what would you be telling the team? What would, firstly, great work. We picked up a map where we're even now. It's all square, just one map. It's a best of one.
I think for INTZ, they need to just try and go in and steamroll this one. I think they give SV a little bit too much respect. They're almost afraid to play aggressive, but if I see them playing more aggressive, it seems to do a bit better for them. If they pull that out here, it could be what it takes to cross the finish line.
Well, Super Valiant Gaming up against INTZ, what is essentially now a best of one here on Ankara in our 3rd place match.
And so Ankara will be the battlefield for our 3rd and final map of the 3rd place match here. Super Valiant looking to try and defend a 3rd place position for China, and Brazil trying to steal it away after a poor start on the opening map. A great recovery on map number 2. They must now rally together to close things down on Ankara if they want to take that position.
And starting it out, we can see Akemi getting the opening pick. Elegant already going down and out. A nice sniping duel going the way of INTZ to start things off here. Could mean the opening round as well. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure here over towards the A bomb site. SV, not really too much attention there as well. It's only going to be one solo player on the hold. N9 here to try and lock this one down. Has 5 players ready to charge in his direction here, but N9, he's a player we've seen step up before, but right now, they definitely need him to make the impact here. INTZ throws the pop flash right onto him. N9 trying to keep the dream alive, though, but it's not going to happen in this round. 3v5 already as INTZ take full control of the A-bomb site.
He's going to end up getting run over there, and so we do end up seeing INTZ push ahead early on with a double kill against N9 and Elegant as they try to defend the A-bomb site unsuccessfully. The rest of the team, Unke, Daobao and 18 going to look for the retake round. Unfortunately, not a lot of options are going to present themselves with basically full HP still being present from every single member of INTZ. It's a good start for Daobao though. Moves in, Unke finds the second, and just like that, we're even. Not a whole lot of damage taken by anyone on SV from that fight either. So still in a good position to try and bring this back now. The only issue is going to be time. It's going to be incredibly low, and this is going to cause mistakes to be made. Akemi and NNM pick up 2 kills, and Akemi with a double kill will close out to give INTZ, yet again, the opening round.
INTZ, though, always doing a great job of starting out on top in these maps. It's just when the pressure gets higher and higher to close it out, that seems to be where they struggle, but not in the last map. The pressure not getting to them completely. They were able to close it out in overtime. But now INTZ, they have a much greater thing to do here, and that is close the entire series on map 3, but it's another great start here. STK takes down Elegant, who struggles once again on that opening pick.
5v4, that's where we'll devolve this down to now. NM continues to make his push forward. Try and see if he can catch anything out in mid here. It's not looking like there's too much of an active presence maintained by Super Valiant. Inside of the mid positions, 18 would be the closest to being able to take control of this. Unfortunately for 18, not a lot presenting itself to him either. It's going to be N9 instead. They'll have to step to the plate first off, but Vinny will get the kill instead. Q only able to go 1 for 1. INTZ run over the A site once again and find good positions to start for a plant.
Now it's all about the retake here for SV. INTZ once again in full control of the A bomb site. 18 and Anka trying to find their way through from the backside of the fences here, trying to get this opening. It's not going to be too likely to go their way. NM puts this one to a close, and INTZ find themselves yet another round to kick us up, and it's going to be a pretty tough situation for SV once again. Potentially, we could see another 5-0 start here for INTZ.
And INTZ, they're going to be sneaking themselves over towards the A site pretty definitively at the beginning of the round once again, meaning that 18 is going to find himself getting tested. Trying to hide behind the boxes on the cutaway over towards that A site. It's far too much for him to deal with. NM just runs him over. A nice easy kill to start things off. Only player that really takes any damage from that is STK, going down to just under half.
INTZ trying to find another opening here over towards A. They need to be careful though. N9 looking to make things happen here from the A connector. Q adding pressure here from the vents as well. They're going to try and swing their way out into long A control potentially, but it's going to be INTZ already backing off here to potentially rotate this bomb over towards B. We do see Penkata already scouting out the lower B tunnels here, trying to find a way into this bomb site. SDK though spots N9 getting a little bit of aggression going there over towards A connector, but still the bomb is going to be rotating quickly here over towards a B execution.
So the rest of INTZ, they're going to group themselves up, trying to make their way into the B site. Through the side corridor now, work their way down. It's going to be another big explosive play coming out from INTZ. They're stacked together, though, which is going to be quite dangerous. Thankfully, no one's here to defend it. SV have left it open for the taking. INTZ are just going to walk directly in. The potential clean plant opportunity even going to present itself. Elegant hiding out in the house to the left side of the B site. Might be the only real chance to stop this, but again, yeah, easy utility to be chucked in. We'll stop that right in its tracks. Elegant will be forced to wrap back around, but a counter flash against him holds him out, holds him into this corner. Allows for Vinny to push forward and get a plant. Akemi also going to grab a kill. Q and Elegant, though, make their push forward. They've already retaken control over the C4. Could start the defuse if they want to. Elegant with another one, and an M and Akemi trying to bring this back for INTZ, and they do just that. Once again, it's INTZ controlling the early game here at 3-0.
This is where they need to be careful on the side of SV. INTZ controlling things on their defensive half is one thing, but on the blacklist side of Ankara, this could mean their ultimate downfall here as INTZ looks poised to put themselves in a position to win this map and secure themselves that third place prize, a $40,000 map on the line for both of these teams. Right now, INTZ is stepping up under the pressure to try and make this happen. SV, though, this time around, they're going to put a lot of attention here over towards the B bomb site. Meanwhile, INTZ quickly working for this mid-control play.
The jump down has come in from INTZ in mid as they continue to push forward, looking for options. Lead up to the execute. 18 in the meanwhile waits inside of the house by the window and is going to be making sure there is no push thrown against him at this point. But INTZ sneak over into that B connector anyway. They're going to start working their way out over towards the site. SV, of course, have plenty of eyes on this. Elegant on the arm, along with Anke, watching out for more direct play with the AK. Elegant's going to get a tad aggressive, though. Lurks into the corner, finds himself into the open, somehow doesn't end up getting picked from that, and is able to find an opening kill for his team instead by knocking out Vinny.
INTZ now looking for an opening of their own here, trying to make a presence over towards this B bomb site, but no clear entry just yet. SV slowly collapsing onto their position as well. Only one player remaining sitting here outside the A bomb site. Actually, two players still over in this position, but still, SV has control of the B bomb site now, just waiting for INTZ to make their move. Elegant, though, not really aware that the push is still coming out from the underpass. Three players of INTZ ready to swoop in and make something happen here already. Pinkata finds the opening. Elegant goes down, and now all of the pressure is going to be on SV here as they look to try and hold on to the bomb site. Plant, though, will go down. Pinkata here does have the potential cross here. STK, though, already on the flank, able to almost find one. NNM finishes him off. It's going to be STK who finds another and is able to escape here. 3v2 now. Anka and DaboQ find their way back in. Anka finds the double kill. Still looking for more here. NNM trying to hold on and will make it happen, but DaboQ is there to easily trade it out. STK down to the 1v1 versus DaboQ, the bomb down right in front of him. He needs to get this plan off. Only 10 seconds to make it happen. Has to swing wide and hope for the best, but it's going to happen here. INTZ find yet another round. And as you can hear, the crowd completely silent and shocked as INTZ take the 4-0 lead here.
INTZ's lead only continues to blossom. It's looking more and more like the previous two maps, the way that it started off there. Only this time, it's INTZ on the attacking side that's finding this large of an advantage. Whereas previously, more the advantage was gained by them on the defense. Super Valiant, though, nothing to be figured up by them yet on this map. They need to figure things out quickly. Otherwise, we could be looking at a very, very one-sided affair for the remainder of this series going by the way of INTZ. And that would certainly not make the fans in the crowd happy, that's to be sure.
INTZ now trying to find an opening once again. NNM leading that front here, 8-2, averaging 2 frags per round for the side of INTZ. Surely making his fellow Brazilian brothers proud on this one, as they've already pushed this one very far in their favor. Looking to go the full distance, though, and take map number 3 and pull off a pretty big upset against SV here in the 3rd place match and take them out once again here. Right now, though, it is going to be INTZ looking to try and find their way over towards this B bomb site. All 5 players grouped up and ready for action here. One player watching the flank as well to make sure SV is not able to wrap behind them, but it's all about the hold here for SV. They've had some struggles preventing this B bomb site push. This is where N9 and Anka have to step up and make it happen.
So for INTZ, the push is going to be working its way out. A more direct play this time over towards B. Not going to be fooling around with the connector. They just work their way out in the direct route. Just under a minute as well to make this execute work, so giving them plenty more time than we'd seen in previous rounds. Up to the site, it's a 1-for-1 exchange to start things off. Anke will have to strike next, but no, picked by Penkata before he can even figure out what's happening. The same can be said for DaboQ, and 18 doesn't even get to react. He is immediately pummeled on the inside of the B connector, leaving only Elegant alive. A 1v3 set against him, but a quick switch to the pistol nets and a double kill. Now it's a 1v1. He's even run into the flank, but he misses the arm shot, thankfully. Has cover to work with, and the flick will shut down the round. Finally putting one on the board for Super Valiant Gaming.
And again, SV starting out from behind, but that hasn't stopped them just yet. SV still with the potential to keep this one alive for themselves and fight their way back, and still could take the half here as well. SV, though, will they have the answer now? N9 not having quite the game we would expect out of him, but NNM on the other side of things looking quite well. As Penkata finds the opening here, 18 goes down, DaboQ goes down as well, and things are surely falling apart for SV in this round. Anka finally getting one onto Akemi to answer back, but it could not be enough. N9 left in a 1v4 situation here to try and win it back. SV once again struggling here under the pressure. NNM, no fear at all, pushes right onto him, and it's another round here for INTZ. 5-1.
And so INTZ will continue to find their dominating streak. Just a little bit of an interruption with SV picking up that clutch round in their own regard. It's INTZ that go right back into dominating form immediately afterwards with a 5-1 lead now in their favor. Same scoreline that we had seen in the previous 2 maps. Obviously SV controlling it a little bit more dominantly back on the last map. On the first map, it was INTZ that held this and then eventually lost it towards the end of the first map. So, we'll have to see if INTZ will be able to continue to hold on to an advantage. Or again, if SV can finally find some solidity on this defensive half.
INTZ going in for the full A execution. N9, though, is going to be caught with a nade out here. Both players eating the brunt of that flashbang as well, but N9 still able to get one, but it's not enough. It's traded out 2-for-1 as DaboQ goes down without a fight. No trade coming through from the spawn either. 18 goes down. It's already down to a 2v4. INTZ in full control once again. Elegant finally getting a kill on the retake, but it may not be enough here. Both players are fairly low here on the side of SV. Meanwhile, INTZ almost full HP on all 3 remaining players. 25 seconds to get this retake off as well. They have to force their way in through the smokes and hope for the best. SV needing another huge clutch round to pull themselves back up, but it's not going to happen. NNM goes in with Penkata, and they find yet another one here. INTZ looking better and better as this match progresses, but NNM surely leading that front here, having a phenomenal performance so far in the first half and averaging over 2 frags per round for his team.
6-1 now in the favor of INTZ. SV going completely silent on this defensive side. They're going to get aggressive this time, though. 18 leading the charge for Super Valiant, as the rest of the team follows close behind. STK does realize the push is coming, and I think he's able to hold them back pretty well, actually. Smoke grenades are going to go in. This will hold back the pressure from the guys on Super Valiant as they are forced back to the sites. Meanwhile, B, because it was left relatively undefended, INTZ have already pushed their way through the direct route and out of connector. Anke, unable to defend it. He's gone well back towards his team spawn, as has N9. They're just going to continue to hold in that position, waiting for some type of post-plant retake here now that INTZ have taken the free control because of SV's push being so unsuccessful.
SV, though, so far behind in this map. They need something to try and bring themselves back into it. 18 finding one on the retake, but NNM finds frag number 16 on this map and takes down a couple players here. It's going to be a tough retake. SV running into a wall of bullets here. WQ already the last player alive. It's not going to happen, and INTZ once again come out on top here, 7-1, potentially an 8-1 half here, and now INTZ may just have the momentum behind them to close this one out.
For SV, we're just not seeing any signs of a comeback. It would have to be an absolutely amazing start for them on the second half if they want to have any hope of getting back into us, or at minimum, close out this round here. Well-placed nade at the beginning of the round, at least. Knocks Pencana's HP down to about half. They'll have to play stunted for the rest of the round as a result of that. INTZ, though, no fear anymore. STK walking right out onto the A site. They are going to give the players from SV plenty of time to rotate, but it's a 1-for-1 exchange to start it off now. 2-for-1 in the favor of I, now 3-for-1 in the favor of INTZ as NNM picks up the most recent kill. Akemi will be caught out by Elegant, but it's just him and Anke left in the fight here now for SV if they want to try and survive. They want to have a hope of coming back in the second half at all.
SV surely in need of this round, otherwise it will be an 8-1 half in favor of INTZ. Right now, though, it's going to be Anka who opens things up for the retake. Elegant and Anka trying to find this one, though. NNM going to be taken down as well. It's on STK, the 1v2. Not going to happen. Anka shuts it down, and finally SV get themselves around to close out the half, but still INTZ with a 7-2 half. An incredible performance, to say the least.
Yeah, only 3 rounds on their defending side is all that's going to be needed for them to be able to close things out. An absolutely dominant performance from INTZ. Definitely no longer showing signs of burnout here in these very long series. That was the issue for them going into the group stage when maps would hit overtime and even our earlier best of 3s. But it has not been a problem here. INTZ have certainly outlasted Super Valiant and are going to be just a few more rounds away from being able to close out the series, knocking the Chinese down to 4th place and holding the Brazilians strong at 3rd and potentially 1st place if they come out of our grand final on top as well.
Right now, SV feeling that pressure, and INTZ no longer a look of disappointment on their faces. They feel confident to try and close this final map out, and rightfully so. A 7-2 half as we get back into it in half number 2 here. INTZ 3 rounds away from finding themselves that 3rd place prize here and shutting down SV from a potential win once again. It would be an incredible way to see them fall here. SV potentially the best placing Chinese team to finish in 4th place here. An incredible turn of events, but INTZ definitely looking primed to win it here.
So the opening push is going to be coming in from INTZ. They do hold their players back onto the sites. And SV, well, they're going to be pushing a little bit more decisively here over towards the corridor leading up towards B at the start of the round. Problem is INTZ have run into that. You've got Vinny on a tight angle to try and hold into that. Akemi is inside of the window too, should the need arise to have him. Supermount will run into a lot of problems if they try to push directly from mid into that B site. Sure if they've realized it or not just yet. Regardless, they're remaining passive about their opening here.
SV, though, doing a great job of reading these defenders' positions. They know that A could be the site to take here. Only one player actually on the bomb site. STK playing on the lower bomb site, hoping he can hold this off by himself. He does have some slight support there in Akemi playing in the tower position, who can potentially trade out from the top of the tower over towards A, but it's still a very difficult shot to hit in SV. May just go right in here, but they actually look to be easing out of this one, potentially to rotate towards mid. And this could be a trap that they fall right into here. INTZ has mid completely stacked right now.
SV might end up just running directly into it. Less than a minute left for the execute to come out for these guys. They are going to work their way in. Akemi's able to hold off one. Vinny with the second, and oh my goodness, it's all Vinny all day. A triple kill from him at the mid-site, leaving it all down to N9, trying to fight from the inside, but NNM will shut him out. A strong start from INTZ, and that is exactly what they needed. Only 2 more rounds separate them from third place finish.
SV, they need to bring out everything they've got here and now. This is their last chance to fight into this match and somehow bring themselves back into it. INTZ, though, bringing everything they've got as well and making it happen. 8-2, a huge lead to have here in this final map of the best of 3 we're in. And looking at the maps so far, they've all been relatively close, but Ankara so far has had INTZ written all over it. And once again, we do see them potentially play this 3-2 setup here, and we have one player, looks like NNM there, pushing out for the flank, so they have a pretty good idea this is going to be an A execution.
Time certainly not becoming an enemy of Super Valiant just yet. Plenty of time for them to recommit themselves anywhere on the map. It does look like we are going to be seeing Super Valiant try to force themselves into mid once again. 3 players in position. Nowhere near the stack this time, though, from INTZ, so it should go a little bit better this time around. And Super Valiant are smart to think this. No way is INTZ going to go for this heavy of a stack 2 times in a row. It's obviously a much cleaner lurk out into the GR spawn, and then hopefully over onto this B site where's INTZ? They're not ready for this. NNM's going to get pushed out of position, and they are pretty much just going to let Super Valiant get the plant down onto the ground as a result of such a clean opening kill.
NNM, though, still very close by and can give them a lot of information for the retake here. SV needs to be careful of his positioning here for the retake. Right now, though, SV has full control of the global risk spawn, and they should be able to at least cancel part of this retake from this position. But INTZ, they've actually read it quite well. They're going to go all in from underpass to support the positioning here from NNM. They're all now coming out from the same position here. Elegant has to try and hold it off, but they're trying to run right past him here. Elegant finds one, but that's not going to be enough to hold on here. 5 seconds, though. They have to try and stick the defuse. There's no time. The knife kill comes out from Elegant. That is going to be a huge way for SV to try and get back into this one. A big round on the board, but not enough to phase them just yet on the side of INTZ. They are still up 8-3, but SV, a nice way to get things going back in their favor.
INTZ also already proving themselves once before on the opening round, but that was due, granted, to SV running directly into their setup. INTZ is going to try something interesting again. They've got a lineup of players in the B connector. Unfortunately, this is not going to allow them to find too much success here. What it will do is give them plenty of info. If NNM decides to peek out fully and check this, they're going to see that Super Valiant really don't have much of a stack. It's all going to be pressure towards the A site. Because of the gamble stacks, though, here's the problem. You've only got 1 player to defend that A site, and it's not looking like INTZ are exploring the map quickly enough to realize this and counter out the 1 man on that site, which is going to be STK. We'll have to see, though. I believe we do have INTZ moving back onto a flank around these guys now. STK is able to hold for 1, and Akemi also picks off 1 player outside in the A long approach before the rest of the team works their way through. However, SV realizes what's happening, so they quickly divert over through the GR spawn, I believe, for a B plant, but this can end up being a mistake. Then he's going to be in the way, but no, he's not ready for the push when it comes his way. N9 takes him down, and we end up in an even 3v3 for the retake on B.
INTZ, though, trying to collapse their way in here, sending a couple players all the way to fully rotate behind them. DaboQ just watching for the flank from A, but nobody coming from that direction here. INTZ already in position to pinch their way onto this bomb site, but 18 wrapping behind in Hotel here could catch Akemi off guard. And it's going to be 1 player already down and out here as well. Things looking better and better to shut down this retake for SV. Pincata, the last hope on the retake now. 1-on-3 situation. Has to try and find his way out of this one quickly, though. Only 10 seconds. He is nowhere near in sight here. Not looking too likely. 5 seconds to do it. It's not going to happen. N9 shuts it down, and SV find another round here. And slowly but surely, could it happen again? The SV comeback here in map number 3.
Super Valiant do start to get the crowd working into their favor as well as they look to pick up more and more rounds here. Slowly forging their way back into this matchup. They've got a long way to go. They still need to double their score. That's only to tie us up again at 8-8. At least they've started themselves the path that INTZ seem to have run into a wall. They're continuing to throw aggression out here on their global risk side. Unfortunately, most of it hasn't worked. It's either been poorly timed or poorly positioned against the push from Super Valiant, and it's oftentimes led to a deficit when it comes to the attack. The Super Valiant have oftentimes been walking into just open sites or sites with only 1 player at most defending them.
SV, though, still not safe at all by any means here in this matchup. Needing 4 rounds to tie, 6 to take it somehow in regulation, but INTZ off to a clean start. STK finds one. Vinny with a chance at 2, but he's only going to find 1 out of it. 3-on-3 situation, but Elegant takes down another, and once again, SV have the favorable advantage here in this round. NNM and Akemi looking to hold on for INTZ, but still SV, they have what it takes here. Anka down to 4 HP, though. They need to be careful. SV, they don't want to lose this player advantage that they've created for themselves, but Akemi wants to find this pick in mid. Almost spots 18 there. SV having to play very cautious here, but it's going to be the last 2 players from INTZ now rotating together aggressively out of B.
He might have himself a good lineup if he catches 18 moving in. He's going to walk right into his angle, but the position is off on the crosshair. NNM instead will make an aggressive move. They have to stop doing this, though. It's not working out. Every single aggressive move that INTZ try to make so far on this global risk side is just not panned out for them. And we will see the last player get caught off as Super Valiant find yet another round to bring the Chinese fans back. And as well, bring Super Valiant closer and closer to stealing away a map that surely seemed like it was going to go the way of INTZ.
SV, though, looking for the full comeback here. They were down 8-2 at one point, and surely looked like INTZ could close us out here, but it's not going to happen just yet. SV looking to do it once again, just as we saw on map number 1. They were able to come back from a huge deficit and still somehow take it away from INTZ, but surely INTZ has learned their lesson and could be able to close this one out. But INTZ, they've had so many issues closing out this map so far. Could somehow slip away at any moment. Right now, Penkata, the one having a little bit of issue here for INTZ. 0-3 here in this half so far. The rest of his team playing pretty well across the board, but SV looking to try and abuse these positions once again. STK and Penkata, the 2 looking to get under fire here.
Still going to remain quiet here. Super Valiant look to try and push themselves over towards A. Another problem going to start to surface a little bit here, though, for INTZ is the heavier stack towards that B site. Thankfully, they should have a second player in position over towards A this time, at least, to successfully defend that site, as it is looking like Super Valiant are going to go for the stack and a lead-in towards the A site after a bit of a delay here. Still trying to play the timer at the moment, since they have plenty of it remaining. They haven't been forced into making a move just yet, but that time is quickly approaching where Super Valiant are going to be forced to make a move.
INTZ, though, still being very patient in this situation. They know what's at stake here. $40,000 difference here between 3rd and 4th place, and they surely have the position. They want to hold on to it right now. STK finds one, looking for the second. He'll find it, still alive, but finally goes down there to Anka. 3-on-3 now for the retake. INTZ already in a full rotation here over towards the A bomb site. The bomb still yet to be planted in SV. They may just try and back off here. Dabaku, though, holding the angle. The rest of his team slowly slipping out of this one. They now pull right onto site. The bomb goes down. A site for the retake here. INTZ, all 3 players going to be rotating in from the global risk spawn. They have to be careful, though. Dabaku playing safely behind the wall, trying to bait them into pushing for the retake here and potentially to catch them off guard. But INTZ, they've been completely exposed here. SV knows exactly where it's coming from. Elegant finds one. Akemi trades it out, gets the double kill. It's all on Anka. It's not going to happen. Akemi with the triple here. And we're going to match point now for INTZ as they get their 9th round on the board.
So INTZ take it the distance now. 1 more round away. And they'll take control of the 3rd place prize pool and the extra 40,000 USD that comes with it. For Super Valiant, they've been doing a remarkable job to try and bring this comeback under their control. With the rounds being traded out and the massive disadvantage that they've had to work back from at the start of this half has now really come back to bite them. It's too little too late from Super Valiant. And now they need to be flawless. 4 rounds in a row is what is needed for Super Valiant to still stay in contention. Take this to OT and try to close out in 3rd place.
And now we see INTZ looking to do exactly what the Black Dragons did to SV in that semifinal and upset the former world champions here once again in the 3rd place match and knock them down to a 4th place finish here. Akemi, though, taking a ton of damage from that single tap coming out from N9. Almost takes him out of the picture, but not quite connecting on the headshot just yet. INTZ, though, still playing this one very safely. A gamble stack, though, now over towards the B-bomb site as only 1 player from INTZ is actually holding off the A push.
So Kemi, he's going to work himself over towards the window, continue to wait out for a mid-push. Obviously won't go for the direct peek due to the threats that's associated with that. And this will prime SV for their own execute. Not really deciding on where to take it yet, however. It's only Elegant and one other player in position here. They're going to lurk back over towards the A connector instead. They're trying to make a play towards there. All players going to be grouped up. And unfortunately, INTZ, again, don't really have a great position established on that site, meaning that should be a relatively successful push from Super Valiant. There you go. N9 gets it off to a good start, and there's no one else here. INTZ as well don't have a really good track record when it comes to these forced retakes, considering that all 4 players are going to be coming from the same direction right now.
INTZ swarming in from the global risk spawn. They've got to do something incredible here to close this match. Vinny finds the opening frag for the retake, but it's still going to be SV holding on to the bomb site pretty safely here. INTZ try and force their way in, but Akemi already very low. Pinkata does manage to find one, but all 3 players are extremely lit in this situation. INTZ has to pull off something big, but N9's already found one. Akemi and NNM both very low. Doesn't look too likely now, as it will be the shutdown coming in from SV, and they will live to fight another day here, but SV still much more work to be done if they want to take this one into overtime.
The first of only 4 rounds that is needed consecutively for them to be able to close out, so INTZ won't be sweating just yet. They do need to look to wake up soon here. They've fallen into a rut before where they've allowed Super Valiant to come back. That was back on sub base. We had INTZ ahead at 5-0, and still SV managed to make a comeback, still to close out in regulation itself. 10 rounds going into their favor. INTZ do not want to let that happen again. They won't be able to forgive themselves if another comeback occurs and Super Valiant are able to shoot ahead once more. It's just that one round, guys, you need to close out. Just get the appropriate read here, shut down the play. I do like what we've seen, though, from INTZ. They're not gamble stacking either of the sites anymore. They've gone into a more standard play, which I think is going to give them a lot more room to evenly trade things out and leave a better chance for a full-on retake to still be possible.
INTZ playing very reserved here. Everyone just as far back as they can be, holding these passive angles and waiting for SV to make the mistakes, and that's exactly what you need to do here. You've got 3 rounds to play with, but you still want to put yourself in a position where you don't make any simple mistakes by peeking out too overly aggressive, as we've seen definitely punish INTZ in the past here. This is exactly how they want to take it here. A 4-man stack here. Now over towards this B bomb site, but the bomb actually favoring its way over towards A. They definitely want to be careful here. STK all alone over towards the A bomb site, and they're going to attack his position here. STK, he's got to hold it off all by himself here, but it's not going to happen. He goes down without a fight. SV trying to fight for survival once again, and it looks like it may happen here. N9 finds himself another pick here, and just like that, it's a 3v5. INTZ once again, their backs against the wall, stuck in the global risk spawn for a full retake, but Elegant, he's already on the flank here. They're completely pinched, but Pinkata takes down the lurker here, and it's still possible to retake this one. INTZ trying to force their way back in, but they only have 30 seconds to make this happen. They have to force their way in a little bit faster here. Akemi trying to find the opening here, but N9 just patiently playing behind the wall. NNM charges in, finds the first, but it's not over just yet. N9 still holding on to this one. Akemi can't find the trade either. The clock is ticking, but they can't find it. N9 finds one, make it another one here. 3 kills on the round for N9 and SV. They still remain in this fight.
2 more rounds to go, and they'll close the gap, sending us to overtime for a second time in this series. And well, for INTZ, you just have to stop playing that A site so lightly. They keep hoping that there's going to be aggressive play in mid. Every time we've seen Super Valiant go for that, though, they've been shut down outright. There's no simple reason why we would see Super Valiant go back to such a risky play, considering how poorly it's gone for them. They're going to stick with what works, and what works is that A push. INTZ need to keep a consistent presence on this site, and they've finally adjusted for it. They finally have put more players onto this site. We'll have to see if it'll be enough to hold off against a push from SV should they decide to go for it once again. They have to be careful, though. They don't want to make it too obvious that they have additional presence here now, as it's just going to send SV right back the other way, because they've gone into a passive hold now. They're not committing themselves to the A site so definitively early on in the round. They are fishing around, playing out with mid a little bit too. Potentially keep options open for a B rotate should they spot this heavier stack on the A site.
I definitely like the setup as well from INTZ. They know that SV is not going to be eager to rush into mid, considering the one round they did was a complete shutdown. So there's nobody actually holding off mid very carefully for INTZ. It's quite open with 3 players here now holding off this A push. SV, though, they're going to run right into this trap. INTZ have the perfect setup. They just have to hit the shots here and make this one happen for themselves. But SV still 2 rounds away from taking this one into overtime. And here comes the fake from the underpass as well. SV sending 2 players underpass towards B. to try and catch them off guard, but here comes the push right into the triangle of doom here. Pincata finds one, but will it be enough here? INTZ still trying to hold on here, but the bomb rotates quickly towards B. It's a fake here, and it's been sold perfectly well. INTZ, they rotate off of the bomb site. SV, this is a huge opening here.
Akemi not moving out into the open. I think they're aware of the fact this could be coming over towards their site too, but they don't want to challenge it directly. This is an issue. INTZ have a very poor track record when it comes to their ability to retake on the site. They cannot play back passively. They need to fight on the sites itself. Right now, though, it's working. The presence has been enough to somewhat keep SV away. Most importantly, Akemi just found another kill, which so far has been for free. 18, though, going to be attempting to lurk back in, but it won't work out. He's going to get caught by Vinny. We're down into a 4v2 here on the last round as well. SV have come so close. They only need one more round after this one to be able to tie it back up and take it into OT. They're about to falter here. Time, though, is getting incredibly low, and now they have to take out the last two. Both players from SV are able to pick up kills. Vinny finds a trade. Anke trying to hold on his own, and now just trying to waste time. 7 seconds remaining to get the defuse. Anke wants to bring it down to the timer, and I think he's done it. The kill will be found, but it will not matter. Not enough time for the defuse. SV go the distance once again. Full time, and regulation will decide if it'll be a victory for INTZ or overtime to decide the map.
It's not over after all of that. INTZ, they falter once again on the edge of victory here. SV now slowly but surely with an opportunity to take this into overtime here, but it's not over just yet. INTZ, they could still close it out here and take that third place. But SV trying to apply pressure here to take us into overtime, and we are going to see a slow creep here over towards the A bomb site to get things started.
Once again, it's SV biding their time early on in the round. They want to see mistakes from INTZ, and there's been plenty of them on this half. But they've held strong. They've come so close to closing out just that one round they've needed to time and time again, but this is it. This is their last chance. They've had 4 consecutive opportunities to be able to close out on this map, and this is the last chance for them to be able to do so. For Super Valiant as well, they've been chasing the comeback. They've been chasing the tie point at 9-9. And they are within grasp of being able to do it themselves. Still, no movement from Super Valiant. They've wasted a lot of this round's time as a result of this passive hold, hoping INTZ would do something aggressive, and that clearly has not been the case.
INTZ 1 minute left to a potential victory, but SV overtime in their eyes once again to try and push the limits here and take themselves one step further to taking this match back. And it's all going to come down to this A bomb site hold. INTZ, 3 players on the top of A. Shots already coming in onto them. They have to be careful here. The push is coming. INTZ, 3 players to try and hold it off. Here it comes though. SV trying to force their way in. No picks just yet. INTZ, they answer back. STK and Vinny. Vinny picks up the double kill though. It's all down to a 4-on-2. Dabaku finds one, and it's a 3-on-2. Dabaku and Elegant, the only ones left for SV's hope here in this third place match. Trying to hold on. Vinny very low, backs off for the full retake. It's going to be a full flank coming from behind here, though they're not ready for it. INTZ storming their way through the smoke. They don't even care here. They want to put this match to a close. Dabaku knows something's gone wrong, has to back off, but Vinny swings out wide from the arches. Elegant misses the shots, but Dabaku, he finds the double. It's all on NNM here, down to the 1v1. Dabaku versus NNM for the match here. NNM, everything on the line here, trying to find the frag. It's not going to happen, and we're going into overtime once again. A huge round from SV, and it's not over just yet.
Not a huge round as well from SV, but a huge round from Dabaku, who's been the player to bring it back time and time again for Super Valiant Gaming and keep them in contention. The frustration from INTZ is visible, and they should be. So many opportunities for them to close out on this matchup in a straight-up fashion, especially after such a dominant start, such a one-sided start. Remember, at halftime, we were sitting at 7-2 in their favor, and they still could not close it out. They still could not put 3 rounds together on this defending half. The Chinese certainly showing their resilience at minimum, and now must close out just 4 additional rounds, and they will have control of this series to take 3rd place at CFS 2018.
In the previous map, though, we did see INTZ able to pull this one off in overtime, but right now, it is going to be a tough one in front of them. SV, lots of momentum after somehow bringing themselves back into this match and taking us all the way here. As we go into overtime, it is 1st to 4. If it ties at 3, it's the golden round on the line here, but both teams getting aggressive from the start here over towards the A bomb site. Akemi, though, not able to connect just yet. SV, though, losing some health on Dabaku, as I believe he was legged there by a Kemi.
It's overtime for the second time of this series. We saw INTZ able to close it out last time. We're unsure if they'll be able to do it again. They at least get themselves a little bit of a breather between the closeout of regulation and the beginning of OT. But still, it's not going to be much. They'll have to quickly recenter themselves. Thankfully, they do go back onto the attacking side where they were a lot more dominant in regulation. Same can be said for Super Valiant, however. So Super Valiant must have a good start on this defending half. At least putting up one round on the board to make it possible for them to swing the comeback once again into the second half, as I would expect INTZ to push out ahead here.
INTZ ready to strike here onto B Hotel. They need to be careful, though. There is a forward B player waiting for them. Not going to matter. Anka taken down already very easily. Dabaku low as well, but he's going to find a shot. Actually, the arm in hand for him as well. A different change of pace here coming out from SV. Elegant with an AK here as well. Makes this quite interesting. Dabaku trying to snipe on the back of this B hold. Right now, though, still Elegant comes in. A huge double kill with the AK to make it happen. STK goes down as well, and that's going to be it. SV are back on top to start off overtime. And INTZ, the question now, will they crumble under the pressure once again?
And it seems I stand corrected. SV do get themselves off to that hot start. It's not INTZ. With the absolutely decimating attacking side that we had seen back in the first half of regulation time. It's SV instead now that get off to a hot start. Vinny as well, hiding in plain sight against Elegant. Elegant trying to make a push with an AWM in the Deagle. And he gets the job done. Nicely found. He'll quickly retreat through the B connector and over to the site. So INTZ been stunted once more, down to a 5v4 at the start of the round.
SV once again now in control in overtime. We'll see if they can close it out, though. INTZ had an incredible blacklist half in regulation, but right now they've definitely slipped quite a bit here going into overtime. INTZ trying to put the pressure now over towards A. Dabaku just jump spotting with the nade in hand. N9 doing the same here as well. And they are ready to pinch this one. 3 players already sitting on the top of A. INTZ, they are pretty much running into a death trap here. They need to be careful. STK in position to throw the nades over the top for them and potentially throw the fake into mid, but here comes the push here. Dabaku already in position to hold it off, finds himself one, looks for the other, but N9 finds it. This is a complete shutdown here. STK can't find a way out. He's taken down as well. It's all on Penkata, a 1v5. Surely not going to happen today here. SV collapse in on him, and 18 finishes this one off, and it's SV with yet another round here in overtime.
Consistency is key, and it's certainly being found by Super Valiant now. So much of a struggle for INTZ to find even a single round in overtime now after what seemed to be an effortless opening half from them. At the beginning of this map, they can't find or put anything together. We're on the last round of this half now, and the last chance really for INTZ to strike. It's a good start for them finally. Elegant is caught getting over-aggressive, and STK punishes it.
Right now, no real A presence as well. SV loses their only A player, and Elegant getting a bit too over-aggressive. Right now, INTZ, they look to take this one up mid, and it's completely exposed. All of SV going for the push out, and 3 players now trying to wrap their way behind them. This could be huge if INTZ gets through in time. They're going to make it through here, though. INTZ have full control. 18 has to double back here. INTZ once again find themselves in a favorable position here on their blacklist side, but the flank is still coming. N9 now pushing his way through mid, trying to find them from behind, but Akemi able to get out just in time here, but it's not going to matter. N9 finds one, finds the double. Anka finds another, and SV may do it once again here. Akemi goes down, and it's all on NNM here. The 1v3. Can he hold them off here? They need the round desperately on the side of INTZ, but SV, they're going to try and shut him down. NNM finds one, but he's very low now. N9 and Dabaku slowly work their way in, but NNM, he finds another. It's all on N9, who's very low in this situation, but it's not going to matter. N9 gets the jumping kill, and that's going to be it in the first half. 3-0. SV with a big lead now.
Only 1 out of 3 rounds now needed for these guys to pick up in the second half if they want the closeout here. And we may unfortunately end up in that very unfortunate 4-0 situation. INTZ know all too well the feeling of that. They avoided it in map number 2. They were able to battle back and take dominant control with a 4-1 record in overtime for map number 2. But now, not a single round picked up on their attacking side. We're back in regulation. They picked up 7 out of 9 of them. Certainly does not bode well for the second half of this overtime, considering how poor and most importantly how inconsistent the performance on the defensive side from INTZ was.
This just shows you the resilience of this Chinese roster, former world champions, showing why they indeed were in the past, and now potentially your third place team here. If they can find themselves just one more round, they have 3 opportunities, if not the golden round, to make that a reality here. Surely SV looking for that final round to make themselves at least finish on a high note here in their showing this year at CFS 2018. But INTZ, they do have a last glimpse of hope here. 3 rounds to take it into the golden round, and they would have to take the golden round as well to find themselves in a winning position here on this third place match. But SV, this could be the beginning of the end.
So for Super Valiant, it's going to be a very slow windup for them once more. They got players postured up on the A long approach, along with even leaving Anke on the B walk-up as well. Plenty of options being left on the table for Super Valiant to play out for what very well could be the final round of this third place match.
Here we have it, INTZ. Everything on the line here. They have to bring out everything they've got to try and hold off SV for 3 straight rounds. Doesn't seem too likely at this point. SV, momentum on their side, and it looks like they're going to push right in to this A-bomb site hold here. It's going to have to be a perfect one coming out from Penkata and STK this time around. They've had some struggles here, to say the least, on this A-bomb side hold here. See if they can make it happen, though. Right now, SV ready to attack, and really no one in sight for the rotation to come in smoothly.
That was the problem oftentimes in regulation as well, is that INTZ got cut off too early on and didn't have the positioning to retake. Were forced into choke points, and SV could easily shut it down from there. SV look to do it once again. They're going to be walking themselves into the site. Still plenty of time to play this off as well. SV catches one, but it's an exchange. Now a 2, 3 for 1. Trade out in the favor of Super Valiant Gaming to put us into a 3 versus 2 battle now. Kenny, along with NNM, will have to try and bring it back for INTZ, but no, there's no full commitment to that site. They're going to run right into another one here. Akemi goes 1 for 1. It's left to NNM now in a 1v2 situation to clutch this out. He has read the rotate over towards B. It's now a race to the site. And I believe that the player from INTZ, NNM, might be able to win it. He's slowed down, though. He gave SV the room they needed to get themselves up and around the corner. And worse, he's gone back to mid now. He's left an opportunity for a plant. Repeaks in the last second. He's going to take a large share of that damage, though. And they'll look to hold him back. Nade going to be chucked into the distance. NNM looking for a route to retake with, but it's not going to be easy. The good news for him, though, is that SV are splitting their last 2 players up. One's gone down below to watch for a connector push. The other one's staying on the site to watch for a more direct play to come out from NNM. NNM, the flash from him, but no sign of a follow-up. Time's already getting low. 25 seconds left. He still needs time to not only take out the first player, but as well directly contact the second. He's not leaving himself enough. They'll push back in. They haven't found him just yet, but he's still sitting in an incredibly low amount of HP. There's no time left. This is not going to be possible. He's going to work his way back in. Does get the one, but the immediate exchange comes in, and SV get it done. Super Valiant Gaming will take control of third place here at CFS 2018.
Somehow, some way, they claw back, and again, they're able to do it here. Every map, they started off with a huge disadvantage, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they walk away as your third place team here in incredible fashion in overtime. It all comes down to the wire, but at the end of the day, SV gets the job done here. INTZ, though, don't want to sell them short either. An incredible effort and a big run in this tournament to get themselves this far. They'll still be taking home that 4th place prize, but still an incredible run from both teams here.
Especially considering the long absence from the CFS tour that we've had. When you look at INTZ's history, going all the way back to 2015 was the last time we saw them. 2 years away, now coming back again and making it all the way to the 3rd place match. But unfortunately, in the longer form matches, just couldn't close out against the Chinese champions of the previous 2 years. Won't be making it to the grand finals this time, but they still will take home a very respectable 3rd place and the 80,000 USD that goes with it.
Incredible all-around performance, just truly showing us how to pull off a comeback and really make China proud here. The audience definitely giving them a lot of applause after that one.
Yeah, and Super Valiant Gaming going to pick themselves up 3rd place and vowing that to their fans here in the audience, the top placing Chinese team at CFS 2018. And the 2 maps that they did pick up, well, those were impressive for sure, particularly going through to overtime in the end. But as you said, INTZ, we cannot sell them short. They went up against the back-to-back world champions and unfortunately just fell a tiny little bit short, Kyle. It's a difficult situation to be in, but nevertheless, they should be very, very proud of themselves.
Yeah, they definitely should. I mean, it just came down to little mistakes at the end of the day that cost them there. They had so many opportunities to close out that match, but unfortunately, SV, when the pressure's on, that's when these guys rise to the occasion and really show everyone what they're made of.
That's where experience comes in. That's what really makes the difference in matches like this, Blue.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the guys in INTZ, so many good starts for them, but just couldn't close out. That became the issue and became the theme of the entire match. Even going into the third map there, having a 7-2 lead at halftime, very quickly pushing it up to 9, very quickly pushing it up to 9, but just unable to find that 10th round and allowed Super Valiant to run 4 rounds in a row to take us to overtime.
It was actually quite incredible. For whatever reason, INTZ was struggling first to prevent the plant, and when the bomb was planted, they almost had no chance of retaking. They really struggled.
They definitely did, but it's crazy to think about. We just saw a team lose that started every map 5-1 with an advantage. That's an insane comeback from SV. Every map, we counted them out when they were behind, but they always pulled it back time and time again, and somehow they found a way back into this. But INTZ, I'm sure they're going to be a bit frustrated because every map from the start looked like theirs to win.
It absolutely did, but at the end of the day, just falling a little bit short, as we said. Still a lot to be proud of. $40,000 for fourth. Super Valiant Gaming going to pick up $80,000 and hopefully a little bit of respect from the Chinese crowd as well. But coming back and really playing their hearts out here, Blue.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely what a performance for them to, as Kyle mentioned, just bring it back on every single map after starting out so far behind, and even to take it to pretty lengthy overtime on map number 2 and a complete shutdown on the third map, really showing their perseverance and a capability to definitely give the Chinese fans something to cheer about.
Can't help but feel how Super Valiant may have gone if they hadn't played this tournament with that slow start mentality. I have no idea what results in them doing that, why it takes them so long to get moving, but it just makes life so much tougher. And yeah, maybe the results would have been different if they hadn't played out this way. And of course, N9, our MVP, really quite a cracking match there on Ankara. I feel like without N9, I don't think Super Valiant would have won that map.
Definitely not. He finally came to win it here in this final map. He was looking shaky throughout the series, but every time they started to fall behind, he was one of the main keys in bringing them back to the forefront of these matches and ultimately how they were able to come through with the win here.
Well, we've had our one Chinese team here at CFS 2018 in the arena compete, and they did win, end up winning their matches, but as we said, it's going to be a big surprise now that we know that they won't be competing in our grand final. It's going to be Rue Legends up against Black Dragons, Russia up against Brazil in our huge best of 5 grand final coming up right after this.